Hello again, everyone. Edwin Leonard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about zodiac sign compatibility between Taurus and Leo. And yes, it does apply and pertain to the sun, moon, and ascendant for both people in both of these signs. Now, the thing about this is these signs, okay, they are incompatible by sign. They are square by sign or three signs apart. And they're both fixed signs. Both can be very dominant and domineering. I look at this combination, and the thing about this is this could be a situation where you might have control issues with these two people. I think in the relationship, it seems like whether it's platonic, romantic, sexual, or what have you, the Leo on average might be the one that might be a little bit more dominant as opposed to the Taurus. And Taurus can likely be the one that would be willing, I think, to say, okay, you can be that one, that leader in this partnership. But Taurus is someone certainly not servile or obsequious, and they're not going to completely submit to the, I guess you could say, the Leo authority. And really, I think you can have the power struggle and clashes because of this. Leo can sometimes be dictatorial, and in Taurus really is a sign, and as many of you may have read and know about Taurus, is that it's a sign that's not provoked very easily, but they could become almost irascible and infuriated when they're strongly angered by something, and really can hold or suppress that anger back for a while, and then it could be like an explosion. So I think that's something you have to factor in and take into consideration in this particular combination. And also, Taurus can be very more obviously, because Taurus is a feminine sign. It suggests introversion, introspection, and you have the Leo is very extroverted and gregarious and wants to be the life of the party and probably likes to go out a lot in many cases. And Taurus is more about their seclusion and solitude and likes to be the homebody. So you have a little conflict there as well. And the thing about this is Leo does want their praise and adulation and approbation. And really, Taurus may very well be willing to supply Leo with this, but has to remember to do it consistently and feed that Leo ego, so to speak. And in Taurus, liking their privacy, they're not going to necessarily want Leo to be bringing a lot of people home, especially if this is like a romantic type situation, sexual significant other thing, and bringing people home, because Taurus a lot of times likes to just be, whether it's by themselves or just in the company of that significant other. They like their tranquility. They like having their peace and quiet. I should know, having Taurus rising, as many of you may know, I've said this in a number of videos, of course, that I really like to have that seclusion and that solitude and that quiet time. So, and I think that's where you could see the conflict with Leo and Taurus as well. Also, another thing is the spending habits, and especially if this is a living situation where it's a romantic or sexual type situation, you have a thing that Leo has the propensity to be extravagant and can spend a lot in very little time often, while Taurus is really like the antithesis of this. They like to kind of hold on to their money. They're more conservative. They're more about putting their money into some stock or some account where it'll grow, and they're very reluctant to spend. So the spending habits of each of these signs may irritate each other. So that's another thing to look at. On the one positive side, given the fact that these two signs are fixed signs, they could be very determined, loyal, and steadfast and persistent. And once they both might be somewhat slow starters, but they can be very strong finishers and consummate projects very strongly. So really, the thing about this is is that one other positive could be that Leo can give Taurus more of that exuberance and enthusiasm to do certain things, and Taurus may try to help. Leo may try to help Taurus to be more extroverted and outgoing, and Leo and Taurus may have that calming influence on Leo and subdue some of the fiery temperament of Leo. So those are some things to look at when you have this combination as far as compatibility goes between these two signs. So those are some things to look at as far as that goes. Well, anyway, people, it's also important to look at the aspect, if any, that is made between the energies with these two people. This could indicate how these energies may integrate maybe a little better than previously indicated, or maybe not as much. So, anyway, well, you know they are square by sign, and in many instances, you'll have a square aspect take place between these energies of these people. Now, let's say someone has the sun, moon, or ascendant at Taurus at 8 degrees, and the other person has the sun, moon, or ascendant in Leo at 11 degrees. Well, that would form a square aspect, which could be adverse and adversarial, and this would only accentuate or intensify the negativity of this combination that already exists given the fact they are square by sign, and this could be very challenging being a square aspect, and they can be strongly in conflict. Now, on the positive side, you can have an out-of-sign sextile aspect take place between the energies of these people. Now, let's say somebody has the sun, moon, or ascendant in Taurus at 2 degrees, and the other person has the sun, moon, or ascendant in Leo at 28 degrees. Well, I'm sorry, that is actually, I believe that is a trine aspect. I'm sorry, you could have an out-of-sign trine aspect take place with the energies of these people. If someone has the sun, moon, or ascendant at Taurus at 2 degrees, and the other person has the sun, moon, or ascendant at Leo at 28 degrees, that would form an out-of-sign trine aspect, which could be more auspicious and positive than otherwise indicated. And you might have these people might be able to work through the disparities between each other in the relationship, regardless whether it's platonic, romantic, or sexual. So anyway, you can also have an out-of-sign sextile aspect take place between these energies of these two people in the relationship. Let's say somebody has the sun, moon, or ascendant at Taurus at 29 degrees, and the other person has the sun, moon, or ascendant in Leo at 1 degree. Well, that would form an out-of-sign sextile aspect, which is like the trine and can be positive and auspicious, and you could have a little better blending of these energies between these people than otherwise indicated. It'd be a little bit more harmonious. However, you have to factor into the equation that they are still square by sign, and you're going to have some disparities and differences in this very strong possibility in this relationship. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for having for astrological compatibility between the zodiac signs Taurus and Leo. And stay tuned next time, where I'll be dissertating and talking about astrological compatibility between the zodiac signs Taurus and Virgo. 2 things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone. Because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.